Hello and welcome to another video. So as you can see behind me is my Taycan GTS Sport Turismo, and you may also notice that I've had something done. Yep, I've gone with a stealth PPF conversion. This is not another video about PPF installation. There's loads of those online already. With this video, I wanted to create the video that I was looking for about 18 months, 2 years ago, which was something that went really into the detail of the PPF installation and would help manage my expectations in terms of how much coverage you can expect and what sort of complications there might be in particular areas where the PPF can't be manipulated to cover certain areas. So yeah, that's what this is about. We're going to get really up close, right into the nooks and crannies of the installation to help anyone else that's researching PPF, and like I say, just to help manage any expectations. First of all, let's start with a section of bodywork that goes to a sharp point. So this is a good example. This is the section I'm referring to here, look. Got a nice sharp point. What I'll do is get the camera in there so we can try and see it on video, and where we can't make it out clearly on video, I will transition to a photograph. Safe to say that most cars will have this kind of scenario scattered around all over them. Here we are super close up on that panel, on the corner pointy bit. As you can see, the edge of the film is here, 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 just there, and just there. This is very typical for a pointy corner. It's not possible to wrap the corner itself, as the film would crinkle and simply not stick. So it's left slightly shy, meaning and resulting in a tiny amount of metallic paint showing through. Here's another very good example of a sharp pointy corner. Again, the corner itself can't be fully wrapped, as the film would crinkle and simply not stick. You can just about see it there, but let me get close in with another photograph. As you can see, the film finishes short of the corner, leaving a very small amount of metallic exposed. And one final example of the same sort of scenario here on the rear quarter, where the boot lid comes down and meets the rear quarter panel. So you can just about see it on camera here. A teeny tiny cutback just there. The film comes up and in slightly, and then follows that line under the glass of the rear window, and a very small amount of metallic showing through. If I just come round here on the opposite or opposing panel, again the film's slightly cut back. You can just see a little corner of metallic shining through. Here's a good example of where two panels come together and how the panel gap itself is dealt with. You can see the sheen of the satin film, and then the gap itself. Each panel has, I would say, less than 1 millimeter's worth of metallic paint that is visible. You can just about see the edge of the film there. No attempts are made to roll the film into the gap, as it simply wouldn't stick. Then on the corner, you can see that's cut back very slightly to allow the film to be manipulated and rolled under like so. To the naked eye from a little distance away, it simply looks like a regular panel gap. Okay, here we have the front bumper, which is quite a complicated section. Obviously it comes down here, it's got to go around here, tuck in a little bit there, and then follow this line back up. So if we get in a bit closer, there we go. You can just about see the edge of the film from there. It follows nice and close to the black plastic. Comes down and round, and as you can see, it's about 1.5 millimeters from the black plastic, consistently all the way down and round to the bottom there. It's very impressive how precise the patterns are for the film. That's probably the furthest point away from the plastic on this corner, which is, like I say, about 1.5 millimeters. So where full panels can have their edges fully wrapped, they are. This is probably the easiest area to demonstrate that on. So we've got the front wheel arch here. Obviously we've got this panel that comes through and then folds round, and that's exactly what the film does. The film comes around and is wrapped right up to the edge, all the way around the arch. And it's the same on the doors, it's the same on the bonnet. Where an edge can be fully wrapped, it is. Let me try and show you on a door as well, the same thing. Where a full panel can be fully wrapped over the edges, it is. So again, this is the rear door, as you can see. So obviously the film follows the line of the black trim, tucked right up into the edge there. A little reveal is visible there, as you can see, so a slight amount of metallic paint coming through. Then the film comes down the back of there, look, and is rolled right over the edge, comes all the way down the door. So the edges, as I say, are fully wrapped. So once the door is closed, there is obviously nothing visible in terms of metallic. You get the full conversion effect. Here's a good example of how a crease in the bodywork in the panel is dealt with. So as you can see, we've got a strong crease line here, runs through the door. It would be quite tricky to manipulate the film to follow that crease without that reveal being removed. So as you can see, the film wraps around the edges, as we've just discussed, and wraps around the edges here. Where the crease line is, it's just a slight amount of film that's cut back to allow it to be manipulated that little bit more easy. And obviously as you back away, you really can't even see it. On the likes of a fuel cap or charge cap cover, whatever you want to call it. Again, using the shadow of the gap itself, there we go, so you can probably just see at the bottom here, the film finishes maybe 0.5 millimeter shy all the way around. No attempt has been made to wrap it around the back of the cap, because you've got shapes and whatnot, and it just would not stay stuck. So it's just one piece that's planted on top, and it's basically the exact same size and shape of the front of the cap itself. So then you've got a bit of metallic all the edge all the way around, but again you really can't see it. There you go, that demonstrates that little bit better look. So the film doesn't wrap around the cap cover, just finishes slightly shy of it. You've got a very slight edge of metallic all the way around. And obviously as you close it, that disappears and just becomes part of the shadow line. Inside the charge port cover, these edges are wrapped all the way inside. You can just about see there, look, the edge of the film wrapped around the edge. So the wing mirror, several areas to discuss here. So we'll start with this one. So where the door, the piece of film that goes on the door has to obviously go around the mirror housing. You can see there, look, it just goes around. See a little bit of a film line, a little bit of metallic coming through. But again, it's in the shadow of this point that connects to the car, so again you can't really see it at all. Then obviously there has to be a cut line to allow the film to go around the wing mirror, and that's there. I'm just rubbing my finger over it now, and you can barely see it. I mean, it's really not showing on camera at all, but I can just about see it with the naked eye. Just there, look. And then, like I say, with regards to the wing mirrors, so obviously I wanted the stealth appearance, which obviously you get. As you can see the sheen of the film here. But this wing mirror is it's quite complicated. So the film would actually have to be in 4 pieces apparently, which would have just been too messy. So we agreed that to just do this top section to give the stealth appearance, and then leave the fiddly bits in metallic. So see, that bit there is still metallic, and then round the back as well is still metallic, but we chose a natural line that's on the mirror cap itself for the film to finish, and I think it works quite well, that. So we've still got the overall stealth look, but we've not got a messy installation with lots of joints in the film itself. And then we have the front passenger door here to demonstrate how the door handles have been dealt with. You can see that no film has been applied to the handle itself, so that remains metallic. The reason for that was to just break things up a little bit. So we've got the black gloss shiny finish around the windows. We've then also got the black gloss sill strip there with the GTS logo, and the metallic of the handles, just to split things up a little bit. However, for the film to go around the handles, yeah, so it comes around here, goes around, and then goes up underneath the handle, and is actually hidden out of sight. So when the handle's down, you can't see that line in the film at all. So with regard to the window trims, for example, the black gloss ones here, if we get in close, basically the film very nicely just follows that line and is tucked up right against it. And I can't even see it with the naked eye, so it's really not going to show on camera. Just see a little bit on that corner there, look. But yes, it follows the line all the way along. And even on this corner, it's nicely tucked away around the back there. Just see a little bit there, look. Just see the edge of the film slightly on that section there. But yeah, that's very well hidden around the window trims. The roof is quite an interesting part of the installation, obviously the largest single piece of film. So we've got the one single piece in the centre here, and then obviously this is a different piece altogether across the window top there. And where these two pieces of film come together, they are both squeegeed and rolled into this drainage channel. They don't join or touch, so there's a couple of millimeters between the two pieces of film, but that just nicely fits into that groove all the way along. And as you can see, there is a metallic strip all the way down that line. Most cars will have a very similar drainage channel like this, or maybe a roof rail where the edge of the film can be easily hidden. And towards the rear, again a bit complicated here because we've got this one piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces. So again, if we look down the line of this, you can just see the edge of the film here, look. It doesn't roll over because it wouldn't be possible to tuck it anywhere, so it just finishes a millimetre short. And again, that's just a metallic line all the way across the roof there, and then very similar here. Maybe a little bit more exposed here than would be ideal. It could possibly have been a little bit tighter, but again, it's not bad at all, to be honest. This is a section that's basically impossible to put any film on at all. So where these two spoiler elements come together with this roof line here, there's basically a section there which just impossible to put any film on at all. So you've got that piece that comes out, down. You can see the film has a cutout just here, look, which allows it to maneuver in 2 different directions. And then we have a metallic stripe all the way through up to this point just here. Yeah, I really don't see there would be any other way to deal with that, so absolutely done the best they can with that scenario. And then some of these smaller details like the boot open button here, look. Very similar to the charge cover cap where a piece of film is planted on top. And you can see all the way around you've got the luxury of the panel gap, the shadow there. So it's just a piece of film planted on top, almost exactly the size of the button. No edges are rolled into the gap, of course, because it wouldn't be possible to seal them to the paintwork. And then finally, I think what has to be the most complicated section on a Taycan specifically, some BMWs are similar to this as well, where they've got areas of bodywork that fold in on themselves in sort of 4 dimensions almost. So what happens here is, obviously it would be impossible to manipulate the film to follow this line and then bend back in on itself and come back this way. So you may be able to see there, look, the film finishes there, and then there's a strip of metallic all the way through there that allows the film to come and be manipulated in that direction. You can just see the edge of the film back there as well. Again, it's just falling short there, so you've got a metallic line all the way through, and I can feel the edge of the film with my finger, and it's about 10mm short of being all the way up in there, which it's not necessary for it to be all the way up in there, because at the end of the day it's not necessary to protect anything up there, and in terms of the stealth effect you're really not going to be looking up there. So again, I think that's not a bad way to deal with that situation at all. So there we go, that's a very up close and in detail look at a PPF installation. Hopefully we've covered sort of most scenarios and what you can expect in terms of the amount of coverage, and just to help manage expectations. You're going to have to accept that not every millimetre of the car is going to be covered. It's a film at the end of the day. Its original intention was simply to protect the paintwork, but I do think a stealth look can be very nicely achieved, but you do have to be sort of reasonable in terms of your expectations.